Welcome back. It's day 2 continuing here at the QPL World Championship at QuakeCon. Ketchup and ZSX, we've got another incredible quarterfinal about ready to hit. That is going to be RAISY versus k1llsen. We've already seen k1llsen once today. I don't know. I don't think we got a chance to see RAISY. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We got a chance to see him yesterday. But this is going to be one of those phenomenal matches. Ketchup, I want to come to you first. Let's talk a little bit about RAISY, because I think RAISY was kind of everyone's pick for the next Rafa, the next up-and-comer. And certainly has shown an incredible amount of skill and mental fortitude in order to make that happen. But the stage 3 performance from RAISY was not necessarily indicative of what we had seen in previous stages. So RAISY coming in, fresh, new, looking good. What do you think of his chances versus k1llsen here?
I think RAISY has some good chances against k1llsen. However, k1llsen is looking to be on impeccable form, as we did see a few hours ago against Waz. But RAISY, I mean, what can we say about him competitively, apart from he normally is one of the most consistent players that we have. You'd always see him in a top 3, top 2, grand finals. There would be some major tournaments that, if not for the sheer existence of Rafa, RAISY would have won those tournaments, right? It definitely seems to be a little bit of a almost block there. The reality is RAISY is one of the absolute best players in the world, but proven he is beatable by certain players. That may be only certain players, but a lot of the players that he's about to bump into could absolutely take that over him. And I think k1llsen, looking to be in the shape he's in today, he's got a good chance here. But I think what we can expect is one of, if not our highest level series of the day so far.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, RAISY obviously coming off the back of probably his worst season for a long time, sitting in 5th, but still with some incredible results, but not hitting the highs we'd seen in the past. So that's obviously the area of concern. I think there were some of personal conditions in terms of he was changing monitor, he had to change location, so some things at play, but still not the best season. However, notoriously, RAISY's been one of these players that's a bit of a bogey player for k1llsen, style-wise and everything that goes into the game. k1llsen struggled against RAISY, and even though he's not on his best day, I'm sure that's sitting in the back of his mind.
I would completely agree. And let's shift our focus over to k1llsen. He had an incredible game even earlier this morning versus Waz. He hit a coveted 30 frags on Deep Embrace to 31 actually to Waz's 3, and it looked like a programmed bot in the game, right, to just absolutely humiliate and devastate an opponent. And that is kind of that top tier k1llsen that we've come to know over the lifetime of the QPL, right? Someone who's won the belt, someone who's won championships, and certainly still showing signs of being capable of doing so. Ketchup, coming to you. k1llsen's gone through a lot over this course of this past 2 stages, but what do you think based off of how he's looking here this weekend?
It's kind of like I said earlier when we first talked about k1llsen today. There's absolutely is this new element of motivation. We always know that k1llsen is extremely focused going into tournaments, but I think having gone through the recovery of his recent health problems, getting himself back up to scratch, I think is safe to say there's a reason his practice before QuakeCon has been as intense as it has been. But just looking at the fact that, look, EU Seed 1, look at these results, look at the opponents that he's taken out. These are the best players in the world. And on the weekly basis, he managed to become the champion's champion. And I think that's one thing we always have to keep in mind for Quake Pro League. So many players in the Pro League have won tournaments. This is a collection of champions, and k1llsen still manages to be of the absolute kind of cream of the crop. It says a lot about what he's going into for this tournament, I think.
Yeah, and I think if possible, what k1llsen's shown for me this season is probably more maturity and consistency. I mean, he came into the season with one eye. I mean, if he's hitting as much as he can do with one eye now, I might wear an eye patch when I play, because he's insane with the level he's playing at. But it's because of that, and he was at that deficit. I think he found a new level. Like he worked out what to do if he wasn't hitting everything he was hitting, because he was feeling in the back of his mind, I'm not on the top of my game, I don't have mechanical skill. Maybe that played into something, but he does feel like he's playing more cultured. And coming into this in practice-wise, he was just pretty much the best shape we've seen him. And a poor Waz was on the end of that beating, which I don't think he's ever going to recover from. But that's the level k1llsen's playing at. And now Rafa's again in the lower bracket. It's only going to add more fire to his drive.
Well, let's take a look at the picks and bans. And while we do, a reminder, we did see k1llsen in his results versus RAISY, did end up winning that one 2-1 in regular play. So we'll see how that plays out. But Corrupted Keep, Ruins, and finally Molten Fall, should we need it. Catch up, why don't you take a look and let us know what you think about the champs here.
Definite personal respect bans coming through. I think the fact that Clutch was able to be banned without getting through, a big part of that is likely that it was Corrupted Keep as the first map. And then Ruins of Sarnath, Clutch taken away, because if there's one map that RAISY is frightening on, it does tend to be Ruins with the Clutch. But then on the Molten Falls, the Slash gets taken away. We often don't talk about it much, but k1llsen is absolutely one of the strongest Slash players, not only in Europe, but in the world. And we've seen that on a lot of his maps with like Blood Covenant, for example. You'd look at him and it just looks like Toxic in disguise. But I think that with the champion picks here, movement versus damage and utility, we have the Battle of Lights. However, the Nyx of k1llsen is phenomenally strong. However, has to watch out for the fact that Anarchy will outstack the daylights out of him. And then Molten. I'm interested over the existence of Visor. I don't think we're going to get this high octane Molten that we've been seeing all weekend. This one could be a little bit more traditional, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, these picks pretty much feel like we're back in 2018 now, like old school. it's good to see. Anarchy Nyx was like, yeah, that was 2017. Mm-hmm. So that's
on
really
Ruins as well.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly. It's really interesting to see this back again, and it means we're for more strategy. Light versus light is always very interesting because you don't have that imbalance of stack. It is a pure game of strategy and thought process, and that's going to be really strong. And then as Catch Up said, the Visor pick to finish it up is a little bit interesting, but we've seen RAISY pick it a bit more, and it is very flavor of the month in these finals after being barely seen all season long. And obviously Molten Falls is a good map for it. Might play out quite similarly as we saw the Raph at Avec trying to play one side of the map, basing your game around that vision. But k1llsen is a really, really strong pick no matter what map you play on, and favors k1llsen.
Yeah.
I love the fact we get to start with Corrupted Keep. It's definitely RAISY's keep, but k1llsen's amazingly strong and likes that map as well.
Yeah.
And just throwing into the mix that k1llsen struggles against people that are heavy hit scan, running in with the LG, and that's what RAISY can do and can bully k1llsen. So he'll be trying to play around his rail and keep away from RAISY.
Well, we're about ready to jump into this next quarter final Catch Up. Before I do let you go, and you know what? You can totally be like, no, I'm not going to, because this is too tough to call. But any thoughts on a prediction?
If k1llsen brings forward the shape that we've been seeing leading up to this tournament, my prediction is 2-1 k1llsen.
All right. Well, right now we do see the prediction from chat coming in. 60% RAISY, 40% k1llsen. We'll see if that stays the same. But
I'm with you, k1llsen fam. Don't worry.
In full. Thank you, Catch Up. We'll catch you on the flip side. ZSX and I are going to take this one. This is our third quarter final of the day. We still have Base versus Wenger coming up next. And I'm kind of glad I just get to sit back and watch that one, Dan. I'm not going to lie, but this one should be exceptional. It's incredible to think that we've already had Rafa drop down to the lower bracket, but to also go, in this suite of quarterfinals, we're going to have another potential player who could win this tournament, RAISY or k1llsen dropping down.
I mean, whoever does drop down is going to meet Rafa before the quarterfinals. So I'm sure Rafa is sitting back and looking at this one with somewhat eager but pessimistic eyes at the same time, because he's, as we said, he's going to fight all the way through. But at the same time, both of these players definitely are now looking at that lower bracket and thinking, I don't want to drop down because I don't want to meet Rafa either. So there's a lot going on this map in this best of three.
Well, I echo what you said about love that we're starting on Corrupted Keep. Super high octane. Both these players love to play it just in fifth gear. Pedal to the metal, and that is what I am super excited for. I wouldn't be surprised to see that first minute start off a little slow, but the moment any of them get an inch, it's going to be a claw to the top of the mountain for sure.
Yeah, they're both going to be quite wary of the snowball that can happen on Corrupted Keep, even at the highest level. So you never want to be giving away the first frag. You never want to give away any frag, obviously, particularly a first or a clean one. But I actually think this series would be a lot more tepid than maybe some people might pin it. The picks, particularly on maps 2 and 3, don't favor high octane aggression. This map they do, particularly with the Strog, and it's going to be RAISY that wants to set the tempo. I think k1llsen's going to be the one on the tempo. So I don't imagine it's going to be as much of the brawl as we could expect.
Both these players love to play it just in fifth gear, pedal to the metal, and that is what I am super excited for. I wouldn't be surprised to see that first minute start off a little slow, but the moment any of them get an inch, it's going to be a claw to the top of the mountain for sure.
Yeah, they're both going to be quite wary of the snowball that can happen on Corrupt to keep even at the highest levels. So you never want to be giving away the first frag. You never want to give away any frag, obviously, particularly a first or a clean one. But I actually think this series would be a lot more tepid than maybe some people might pin it. You know, the picks, particularly on maps 2 and 3, don't favor high octane aggression. This map they do, particularly with the Strog, and it's going to be RAISY that wants to set the tempo. I think k1llsen's going to be the one that wants to play keep away though and slow that tempo. So I don't imagine it's going to be as much of the brawl as we could expect.
And we might as well be on land. We're sub 15 pings across the board, so that's pretty exciting too. Expect the LG to come out in full force here, as here is exactly what we were talking about. That slow start players with a massive amount.
Got the mega and get the frag, and it comes back to bite him, and there we go, k1llsen. Slow and steady. It is not.
Yeah, I really like that aggression here. k1llsen keeping up off the spawn, runs out of shotgun. Excuse me, LG ammo does pull out a shotgun, but k1llsen very, very low. There's only so many of those frags that you can get on conversion. If they come away or you walk away not clean, you know, you can be in the danger zone and potentially be looking at another frag. Beautiful rocket jump up top. RAISY's going to go for it. LG comes out. He snags it. And this is going to be a close one. It is still high octane. 2 to 3 off the spawn. k1llsen going for that mega. Pushed away with the shaft. You are denied. We're tied up 2 minutes in, 3 to 3.
It's like RAISY was holding his hand out while k1llsen was windmilling towards that mega, just unable to move, and pinpoint precision, both looking very healthy here. So the heavy machine gun comes out, trying to whittle down each other. Distraction orb, so k1llsen can make his way across that bridge. And already we're seeing two Goliaths going head to head, locking horns. But RAISY looking good with the lightning gun, and that's exactly the game he wants to play. k1llsen, as we said, if he's going to engage RAISY, he wants to be around the rockets. He wants to be with the heavy machine gun. He doesn't want to be in this territory. RAISY could abuse that shaft.
And that's the second time RAISY pulled out 49-50 damage without it being answered back at all. That's exactly what he wants to do. Bounced up in the air, avoid getting off the map. k1llsen hitting the rockets he needed to hit. He's very, very low. In fact, is looking for it. We do see the machine gun damage coming out from RAISY, but he's not able to complete the frag. Now he does move in, grab that mega, rearms there with the LG2. He's going to be feeling really comfortable there. Denies that light and may be able to get this heavy as well. Not sure if he knows the timing, but comes in.
No.
k1llsen doesn't even see it. He's surprised. And again, I don't know if RAISY knows heavy, but he gets another frag, sees it. He's got the timing now. And this is a scary moment for k1llsen, because this is a very strong position here for RAISY.
Oh, it was very scary, but k1llsen just balls on through, no fear. I think just the absolute confidence.
Oh my God! That was so awesome.
And it's just in time for the heavy as well. There's a bit of time for k1llsen to make his way across, and you see him appearing now with the outline. He's just going to engage RAISY, and what tracking! And look at the timing. He knew exactly the committal he needed, and he pulls it out. He's setting up for the mega, and it'll be a clean rotation from k1llsen, so it just shows you he's not going to give RAISY an inch. No respect.
None. And I like that we shifted into this mode.
Okay.
Scary moment for k1llsen, because this is a very strong position here for RAISY.
Oh, it was very scary, but k1llsen just balls on through, no fear. I think just the absolute confidence.
Oh my God! That was so awesome.
And it's just in time for the heavy as well. There's bit of time for k1llsen to make his way across, and you see him appearing now with the outline. He's just going to engage RAISY, and what tracking! And look at the timing. He knew exactly the committal he needed, and he pulls it out. He's setting up for the mega, and it'll be a clean rotation from k1llsen, so it just shows you he's not going to give RAISY an inch. No respect.
None. And I like that we shifted into this mode a lot.
Okay.
k1llsen, he took a risk there. He was like, maybe I can get an offensive position. Orb comes in. Unfortunately, there's a rocket waiting for him there, and RAISY takes a 2-frag lead, the biggest lead that we have seen thus far. Grabs himself that heavy, And now moving on in, and it feels very, very comfortable in his position on the map. Just look at how in your face he is getting versus his opponent. There is a trade there, which could be good for k1llsen to kind of slow down that momentum, stop RAISY just a little bit, and potentially find some control back here on Corrupted Keep.
We can calm down. We can take a breath. It's a bit of a reset as we've got time between the items, but the benefit for RAISY is k1llsen's not in a position to contest for this heavy. And look at the timing. He's got 10 seconds now to bully k1llsen away from this Mega. And if he does this successfully, good use of the peek. But k1llsen's still standing strong on the high ground. So he will be contesting for this Mega. That's a huge play from k1llsen, respecting RAISY. He doesn't have the rockets though. That's the problem. And now he has to play the choke points. He wants to let RAISY push in, hit a big rocket, and get away.
I can't believe we're halfway through, right? I feel like we're at a scoreline between two players. It's normally a 7-8 minute mark, but here we are. We still have 5 minutes left on this map, and you have to imagine that like there is some map fatigue that is taking place there. At the rate in which they are playing, the amount of calculations these two brains are doing right now is just astronomical. Here we have Peeker coming out, does do quite a bit of damage, but k1llsen managing to stay alive. Not really in fighting shape quite yet, as we have RAISY coming through. You mentioned min-maxing, and he is using that machine gun whenever he can. LG battle inside the red room, and we will see RAISY get another one, extending his lead now to 9-6.
Yeah, k1llsen at the moment is trying to stall this momentum. What RAISY's done is he kept the map on lockdown. He's been rotating both items. He's not been committing to k1llsen, but what he's been doing is the chip damage, so that k1llsen cannot commit for these major items. Ooh. So now k1llsen's saying, I have to do something. I have to make a play. And because of those 2 frags he's given away, he's managed to buy himself a Mega. So whilst he's down another 2, it's got him back into the map.
Yep. Yep, and we'll see here. I don't think he's going to go for that heavy, but he may actually push his opponent out with some machine gun spam. Nicely done. The sets work still to this day. And 4 frags between these two. I love what you said, like k1llsen does have an opportunity here. Big rocket coming in, but k1llsen answers back with a rocket of his own. Now a 3-frag game. More importantly, though, k1llsen has a little bit of control. Now he finds himself a little bit more hurt than RAISY has the past few, but he just needs to capitalize on the fact that the timings are his. Yep. He's in the best position to do so, and RAISY can't just like go nuts right off the spawns. He's going to need to rearm. RAISY's he only has that rocket launcher. Yes, Peeker's there. He's going to immediately send it into the heavy. Does manage to get a hit, not a huge one, but I also feel like RAISY really wants that LG in his hand too. It's been doing too much work for him.
Yeah, RAISY realizes he's got a 3-frag buffer, so he has the choice here of just delaying and buying time, which it seems like the preferred option, and throwing his body at the wall to try and whittle down k1llsen. Caught there on the side, but no real damage coming out. RAISY's a bit weak, and k1llsen wants to go on the hunt, but at the same time, k1llsen cannot afford to give away a frag at this point in the game. It has to be clean from here on out.
10-7, the clock is starting to tick away, as this is an exciting moment. This first map could dictate a lot of momentum for the rest of the series. And k1llsen really needing to find a frag here, in my opinion, before that 8:30 mark, if he really wants to bring this together, because RAISY can probably do a pretty good run. Huge LG damage, a rocket to follow up. We get the orb coming out in the air, though. RAISY gets the LG kill. 11-7 with 2 minutes left to go, and suddenly k1llsen's battle just got much, much more difficult.
And RAISY just bought his time. He weighed up the situation, and that's pretty much the frag at this point that seals the deal. With 5 frag difference now, RAISY's got the map on lockdown. A good 10 seconds to set himself up for the next heavy. If k1llsen doesn't get this frag, get it clean, and get the items, it will definitely be G in. RAISY's just standing here being like, you have no LG, you have to do something, come at me, bro.
Yeah, and tried to go for the orb as sort of, I think, last-ditch effort, but unfortunately, RAISY, he's like, I've seen one of your tricks. I know how it's done now, and he's kind of the guy that ruins the magician's day because he tells everyone else how it's done. Either way, RAISY looks like he's handling it quite fine. He's got about a minute left. We do see k1llsen get back on the board, but 5 frags. That's going to be incredibly difficult here in the final minute, and it looks like RAISY may have walked away with this first map victory.
Exceptional game from both players. It could have gone either way. felt like RAISY was setting himself up for a fairly easy victory before k1llsen came out with the double air rocket, as you do. But yeah, it was so back and forth. Not as cagey as I would have thought. These guys really went ham, and I mean, the most pleasing thing was the fact that k1llsen was matching RAISY blow for blow, particularly with the LG. So going into maps now with a rail and on his favored Nyx, I'm sure he's feeling okay. This is RAISY's pick after all.
You're right. And it is RAISY's keep. We've heard it. You've heard it here before on QPL. And RAISY kind of, I guess makes an eviction as landlord one more time. I don't think this is really going to throw k1llsen off too much. He's still played great. He's still put on a good pace, especially versus the Strog. So there's the GGs. They are coming out 17-8. Now, I don't feel like that score line actually represents how close this game was.
No.
Obviously, I think k1llsen kind of let it go there near at the end after he took a couple risks to try to see if he could find a window of opportunity to gain back some of those frags. But RAISY still obviously the clear winner.
Yeah, no, he played exceptionally well. There was such a strong period of dominance in the mid game that the only solution for k1llsen was, as we said, just throw my body at you, try and do maximum damage. He knows he's going to die. The whole point is that he makes RAISY low enough that he can compete for the subsequent round of items. But that in itself cost him too many frags. After that, it was playing catch up, and that was on RAISY's term. He was able to kite k1llsen, didn't have to engage, and chose his situation perfectly for when he came out for the kill he needed. And it was tough for k1llsen, but it was a really, really good map by both players.
I loved, too, that we started out, very, very slow. And then the moment that first fight happened, I don't think either player slowed down. Some incredible orb reads coming out there that we're seeing now on the screen from RAISY. Some real nice frags. Taking a look at the damage, RAISY clearly dominating those charts, 5,300 to the 3,900 of k1llsen. And what did that LG end up at? 43%, 11 frags coming from that LG. It looked strong, but things change a bit here as we move to Ruins. We add a railgun to the mix, and it could change a lot.
Yeah, the big difference to me, I mean, I'm really surprised at how much rocket damage RAISY did, but the big difference to me was the spam. RAISY was just much more efficient at range. There was over 1,000 damage combined with the heavy machine gun and nail gun that RAISY had relative to k1llsen. So whenever k1llsen was trying to make these pushes when RAISY had the lockdown, he was just going in weaker. And when you're going blow for blow, like 50% LG each, purely bigger stack wins, and that was RAISY most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot underestimate just how much control doing damage and not taking anything does for a player in these games, right? Allows you to set up to deny items, forces players out of rotations because they've got to go find health, find those light armors, whatever that might be. And that was clearly the kind of game plan there for RAISY. He's optimized that for Corrupted Keep. We saw it there, not only with the MG, the nail gun, but also with the LG. There were so many times where those 7-8 beeps of LG damage just went completely unanswered. So, but we're switching gears here. We're going to Ruins. We've got Anarchy versus Nyx, Ruby Red Nyx, which everyone in chat absolutely loves and asks for every game that they see in Nyx. But the question now is will the railgun and the I guess railsen come out to play?
It's also the map geometry. We know k1llsen is this predator that loves to just chill and bide his time on the upper ground and patrol and use his audio cues before pouncing. And that's a map like Ruins. That's what it allows you to do, is to sit in this T-con with a rail and just have a 360 turret vision. You can't do that on Ruins. I mean, on Keep. You have to run, you have to engage. So the tempo will favor k1llsen here.
Well, k1llsen already saying, like, I got a rail gun, ho, 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 and then he hits his first shot. Forcing RAISY out. In fact, the inject has to come out as well, as he sees k1llsen disappear from his screen. And now 5 seconds until the mega. Is k1llsen going to come in for it? RAISY's going to grab it. I think that was heard by k1llsen, so he immediately stops his approach and lets his opponent have it.
Yeah, and he's definitely not going to engage actively without the Ghost Walk up. So just setting up the trap, getting the information that he needs to make his next move a minute on. But as we expected, this is definitely going to be a lot more cagey. The tempo will be more set by RAISY if he gets ahead of steam, being the Anarchy, playing around that inject, but k1llsen won't want that.
He did 1 minute in now. Big rocket right on top of that mega.
And there's that timing for that
Let's see.
information. We had it,
There
and they're
it
going to
is.
engage here with the LG. So k1llsen's done the more damage from the initiation, but the LG is so good from RAISY that k1llsen gets melted. He can't hit the rail. And he took the risk. He'd already used the Ghost Walk to get the Mega, but he still wanted the fight.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I don't think he had a choice, right? RAISY picking up a nice frag there, and that LG was just impeccable. It was perfect. I love the cacophony of beeps when that perfectly aimed shaft hits its mark. It's just absolutely glorious. So 1-0, and we've got 2 minutes on the map. Definitely because of the way that Ruins is laid out. Obviously not nearly as fast and paced and crazy as Corrupted Keep is, but there we see the aggressive Ghost Walk. It doesn't really do much of anything. Allows him to come in, get a little information, fires a rocket, but not much outside of that.
Really nice. Forcing him away though. k1llsen's putting a lot of emphasis onto this Mega. And at the moment it's working out, but he really needs to start engaging that rail again. And RAISY just shutting that down. He's getting into these one-on-one fights with the LG, and that's where k1llsen wants to be. He's dropping down, nice awareness by k1llsen. He's already taken it away, and he's going to drop back down and pick up the heavy. He really wants to get this full rotation though, and that rail might enable him to do so.
Can he follow up with it? Can he make something happen? He's building a position here against his opponent. And RAISY kind of, I guess, unsure exactly what he's going to do. I'm not sure if you heard an audio cue that decided him to back off a bit, but he is just controlling this middle area near that Mega. Now, are we going to see some potential fight here? Rail, nice rail by RAISY as he sees a single pixel of that ruby red Nyx and hits a perfect shot. Now k1llsen's stack a little lower. RAISY's got no armor at all. Heavy is up, but nope, I thought we were gonna get a delay. We are not. RAISY goes ahead and grab it. It's just a couple seconds now.
RAISY's deliberately keeping the item timings on point so that k1llsen cannot get that full lockdown. He doesn't want k1llsen to get a massive stack and dictate the tempo. He just wants him to be slightly below that where he can have equal footing.
RAISY gonna make his way back down. Is he going to set up here? He sees the opponent didn't have his rail out, but does hit that first one once he grabs it, and there it is. Will Rocket jump up to the top? Misses it, has to get himself another one, but I don't think it's going to matter. He still recovers quite nicely, I must add, and is able to steal away that Mega. And this is a big moment here. RAISY's grabbed both of the major items.
Yep,
k1llsen has a very low stack, and he's got an idea where his opponent is. Right around that corner. And he's going to go for it. Nope. Not after that rocket. Not after that rocket.
That whole play just shows what another level RAISY's on at the moment. I love the way he hit that rail on and then just backed off, carried on running. He didn't even stop because he knew k1llsen was going to pop the Ghost Walk. Then he read his opponent the rail as well. He's so low, but no, k1llsen gets away. It's actually big that he got away because RAISY's also a little bit on the ropes here. So if k1llsen can hit the next rail, the heavy is up for contest.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, k1llsen did grab that Mega, but it was almost immediately negated. There is the wow. He hit that geometry, and that actually saved him. But this is so bad. RAISY's getting chased, and k1llsen's right on his tail. Comes out of the Ghost Walk, and from the ether delivers a shotgun blast to the back. 1-1. We're tied up here at the 5-minute mark.
All of that was because of that faded away rail before the heavy. A long time before the heavy. k1llsen knew he could commit and his opportunity was there, and it worked out. The mechanical skill paid off in the end, and we are still at 1-1. This is the KG match we wanted.
It is exactly the KG match we wanted, and so many different nuances happening here. Like the skill of these players is phenomenal. An exchange of rails is a very, very big deal considering these lights that both champs are on. So those mean everything. k1llsen hitting another one unanswered from RAISY, and that means RAISY's without a stack as he's heading down towards the heavy. A little early, Mega was picked up, but this is probably the largest split in time that we've seen between these major items. RAISY looked for it, but k1llsen went down, grabbed it both, and now k1llsen is the one in control.
But this is the situation RAISY has been trying to avoid all map long. As he gets caught here, the Ghost Walk comes out. He knows he can chase him. He just wanted to avoid the damage, and there we go. There's nothing RAISY could do. And on top of that, the items have such a big split that k1llsen is just patrolling, controlling everything. RAISY guts them through. He picks it up, but they meet in the doorway. There's no Ghost Walk, and there is a Jinjek. No!
I love everything that's happening here. k1llsen's usage of the Ghost Walk is phenomenal. Getting the hit, then hitting Ghost Walk, your opponent in a panic is like, what do I do? And k1llsen's like, I'm gonna chase you, I'm gonna cut peekaboo, and then boom, is able to land the frag. It is a very, very smart usage of Ghost Walk here. We're gonna see it happen again. Steals in that mega and slams RAISY in the face with a huge double barrel shotgun blast. Now a 3 frag lead for k1llsen. I think that this is one of the more creative ways that I have seen a Nyx used here on Ruin.
100%. He's effectively using the Ghost Walk as an Olay just to avoid damage before killing you. It's insane. And the TLDR is ban Nyx. But we're still 3 minutes to go. Is only 2 frags in it. There is 100% opportunity here. RAISY can come back.
It's an impressive display of skills. This is one of those matches here in the quarterfinals that could practically be a grand final. It just so happens this one is a best of 3. Right now, RAISY's in the lead by 1 map. Great rail coming out by k1llsen. We see the spam coming out by RAISY. Does hit a couple of shots.
He could force out the Ghost Walk here. That's why he pushes the inject. He knows how much damage he's done. He's going to go around, pick up, and then probably just charge at k1llsen, who's already gone down to the heavy. RAISY's going to try and predict this, but he's already down there. And it's another rail.
Wow. RAISY, I'm not really sure what his plan of attack is here. He needs an armor stack. He finally grabs a light. Now making his way back up, preparing for this mega, but there's a lot of time until it spawns. k1llsen backing back out, silently waiting, see if he can make a hit here, and he doesn't. RAISY grabs that mega. Now, I mean, I think the armor, is definitely going to be good for RAISY. Yep, there he is. He's going for it.
Now it's game on in the chase. k1llsen decided just to play defensive at this point. He's happy with his stack. He's got the Ghost Walk. It's going to be full retreat mode. He's waiting around the corner. He's already ready for it. The Ghost Walk comes out, but not a lot of damage is done. He's going to stand still. RAISY's seen it. Game on.
Ooh, almost hits that rail, grabs the mega. Now, if he can keep this pressure on while still scooping up all of these items, including these lights that we're seeing, big deal here. But you can already see k1llsen kind of moving into a mode where he's going to play a little bit more defensively, hopping up. We're going to see RAISY go back down as he loses his entire armor stack, and then is replenished with the heavy. Huge rail from down below. He's going to chase momentum through the teleporter with that rocket jump, and now just searching. But k1llsen, so good at running. Back down below, big rocket comes out, Ghost Walk again, and RAISY is playing keep away. Excuse me, k1llsen's playing keep away.
Yeah, and as good and as fast as Anarchy is in the movement, it is a very predictable pattern because you have to play a certain way to get maximum speed, and that's what k1llsen's playing around. There's only certain areas he can go, and there's ledges he can't get up, and he's predicting where RAISY's movement, and this is why you just can't catch him at this point. The Ghost Walk is still down for 20 seconds. If RAISY finds him, he will be able to get a frag, or at least challenge for one. And here's k1llsen on the down low. RAISY doesn't want to drop because the lightning gun says he's done a lot of damage. The rail misses though. He has to get it now. There's only 20 seconds left. k1llsen's still there. He gets the frag. Where does he spawn?
Oh my god, well, huge. As we just see, look at this momentum here from RAISY as he's just barreling through the map, going back down to that heavy. It is up, but he checks the back stairwell. Here's his opponent above him, looks for the shot. It's not there. And there it is. GG. Can't happen.
Wow.
I lost track of time there at the end. That was wild.
My heart stopped for the last minute and a half on the chase right now, and I knocked over my green screen from one of those crazy ass frags, but we're back.
That rail at the end there from RAISY coming around the corner. Oh, that was incredible. The predictions gonna get paid out here in channel points, but what a second map, and where that will force us to a third. These two players, Dan, playing out of their minds.
Absolutely. I have to echo what you said in the cast. The way he used the Ghost Walk just to prowl and avoid damage. Actually, every one of his frags had a Ghost Walk involved. The way he used it during the combat to continue the combat and finish the frag. And this right here, the damage boop into the shotgun, unbelievable. But all the while, with all that pressure, somehow RAISY found a way to make it 4-3. Absolutely incredible game. And as we all wanted, as chat all wanted, maybe not RAISY or k1llsen, but we do have a map 3.
Yeah, map 3, we're going on to Molten next. RAISY's going to be playing Visor, k1llsen going to be playing k1llsen. And going back to that Ghost Walk there just a little bit, it really was kind of impressive. I mean, you know, you think about some of the calculations, some of the ways that you know, like RAISY and k1llsen are like thinking about the game. What is the situation? Where could my opponent be based off of what I've heard, where they've gone, etc. The Ghost Walk like negates that. It adds 1,000 different, 14 million, if you will, different possibilities that you know, and it's impossible for a player to determine every single one. k1llsen took advantage of that in full force, especially dealing the damage, popping the Ghost Walk, and then you almost saw every single time like an indecisive RAISY, like which way should I go? And then kind of that realization setting in, oh, I'm screwed no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter. If he just chases me down and stays on me, he's going to get some free damage coming out of it. Nicely done. Loved what we saw there. Can't wait for Molten Falls.
Can't wait. Just the level these guys are playing, you can see it in the micro decisions. The time where RAISY hit the rail and went around the long way, knowing the Ghost Walker had been able to be popped instead of chasing him. Small decisions like that make or break, and just that, I think it was the third frag k1llsen got where he popped the Ghost Walker off the railing himself just to avoid a rail. I mean, small decisions like this make or break games, and the level they're playing at is just almost unprecedented.
Now, we saw a couple of Visor games on Molten, which I think all went in favor of Visor, really kind of taking advantage of that piercing sight and then trying to hit those free rails, right? We talked about unanswered damage, and when you've got two players like k1llsen and RAISY, that is huge. Being able to do that with your rail is kind of what these Visor players are hoping to accomplish. But I do like Visor as a pick here because of the mid long-range game that oftentimes is played. You know, how this one's going to shake out, I don't know, because I think k1llsen is a good pick here too.
Yeah, it's a really interesting pick. I think Sorlag was still in the pool. RAISY could have picked that, but k1llsen picked k1llsen first, and that means the mobility that Visor really struggles with against some champions isn't an issue. They have the same movement style, the same speed, and so it really nullifies the fact that Visor has any disadvantages, so then he can play around that vision a lot more effectively. So k1llsen's a slow champion, Visor's a slow champion. You have to use that vision well to make the most of Visor, but I do like it here as well.
All right, well, the clock has begun. I'm holding on to my desk, and I think my fingernails are digging in here. I'm very, very excited. Winner moves on to the semifinals, and the loser, unfortunately, will be heading down to the lower bracket where you already know it is stacked down there. It is not going to be a fun time. Well, not for the players. It'll be a fun time for us. But here we are starting things off, and slow, to be expected, right? ZSX, I mean, I think that similar to that first map, we're going to have kind of a slow-paced game to start here. Wow! k1llsen watches RAISY just go for it, as RAISY just is like, well, you know what? Let's just grab that heavy. And he does take a lot of damage, so it's basically negated, but quite a mighty move there.
Yeah, no, it should be slow because the vision is such a critical component of how RAISY will need to play this game. And as we know, the rail is going to be integral to both of these players. And so having that vision just gives RAISY a slight advantage in any potential rail engagements. And he's going to need to get the upper hand. And as you rightly pointed out after map 1, at this level, unreturned damage is king. If you get that first shot on as a Visor, you can follow up. So that's what RAISY's hoping for here.
This thing slowed down yet again. Totem's getting out, and Totem's getting cleared. That's another thing RAISY.
Little tricks that he practices more than anyone else.
Yeah, he does. Oof, almost nails that rail. I can't believe we're still 0-0 here, but both players playing a meticulous and careful game, knowing that it's all coming down to this particular map after they split. RAISY taking Keep and k1llsen taking Ruins. They're the piercing sight, really giving RAISY just the information that his opponent is above him and heading over to the heavy. I don't know that he's going to be able to attack this, but I think he's going to go for it.
Slightly out of position now. It's just going to be about hitting a rail. He doesn't need it. If you look at his stack there, he just doesn't need it. He needs the Mega, which is why he works his way above. He shows face, so k1llsen has to commit, but then he gets a free Mega at the back of it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this map went to a 1-0 victory, but the key is, at the moment, you said it is slow and steady. They're both having a presence throughout the map on both major items. k1llsen's now got the upper ground on lockdown, and RAISY's relegated to the side areas, but they're consistently pressuring enough to keep each other hesitant.
Seen a lot of piercing sight activated immediately after taking out a totem, which is kind of nice. It's like you've given up information, but then you're getting information back. It hasn't really resulted in anything yet, but one of these times it could. All right, you're as a k1llsen, you know a totem's killed. That's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, I guess a telltale sign like, hey, I might be able to do something here. k1llsen is kind of negating that here, or RAISY is negating that with his visor pick. So 3 minutes and 48 seconds now. CSX still 0-0. I would not be shocked if this ended up being a 1-0 game.
Absolutely
I actually
not.
would.
RAISY's taking down these totems proficiently. I'm also a little bit surprised that k1llsen's putting them in fairly obvious positions because he's not needing to use them in combat. So he's deliberately putting these down, either as traps, as you say, maybe just for information as much as anything. Like getting the other stuff is great, but having that understanding of where your opponent is sometimes more beneficial. So, but it would be nice to see him be a bit more careful with that.
We're about to hit the 5-minute mark as we have one of these rare slow moments in a k1llsen RAISY game. RAISY set up here in the heavy armor room. Here's his opponent go through the teleporter. Tips him off, going to sit on top of it. Actually might be able to go for both of it. Sees his opponent, knows he's going to go over for this. It might happen. He's waiting up top. k1llsen looking for it. RAISY's going to move in on it, getting some LG damage. None of that return back by k1llsen. Huge, 100 points of damage. Rocket jump up. Oh my God, caught by the LG. Another rocket and a third. And RAISY's on the board at the 5-minute mark, 1-0.
That was a little bit greedy from k1llsen. He had to screech to a stop like a Looney Tune to stop falling off the edge, but then decided to commit with just the lightning gun from the upper ground and absolutely got trounced there. And now RAISY's taken a 1-0 lead, which could be enough to win this map. He is a little bit low, but that rail will stop k1llsen advancing any further. He's going to try and hit a drop-down rail onto this Mega. k1llsen looking around to see where his opponent is, but RAISY's not even going to risk it.
He's not, and I don't think he can, right? This is one of those weird moments where it's like he finds himself without a stack, and he just got the frag. There's no reason to push it, right? That puts him into a huge advantageous position here for this final map, clearing out the totems. But k1llsen, you cannot count him out quite yet. He just hasn't really been hitting too many rails here. Does land one, but another rail hits, and RAISY going in.
Wow.
Huge LG battle in the underground dungeon, and RAISY's up now by 2.
I feel that k1llsen's a little bit frustrated. That was an unnecessary fight just to go mano a mano with RAISY, who had the backup resource of the Mega, and now he's committing for the heavy a few seconds early, and RAISY is all over the German. Now he's coming in again with the rockets this time. This is pure aggression and almost tilt from k1llsen as he's giving up another frag to RAISY.
I mean, I understand the urgency of the clock ticking away and feeling like, well, my opponent's pretty low. Even if I give up a frag, I might be able to gain some ground. That simply wasn't the case. And I think RAISY's actually phenomenal at playing into that type of style. He's great at being defensive. We've seen him do wilder stuff with less than 25 points of health. And here again, 258 damage with the LG. Nothing but net on that one, 5-0. And it's looking like Yeah, that's right. Give him that Serial Lord. He deserves it. The crystal ball came out 6-0. Incredible rocket rail combo.
I'll call it weird. That's it's over. That is so
That is it.
good.
Yeah. Sorry. Just seeing chat explode
like 30
right
seconds
now.
later. Oh my god. That's
brutal.
Insane.
Totally agree, Forest Fire. That was brutal.
We've
indeed.
gone from 0 to 60 in 2 minutes. It was 0-0 at 5 minutes, and we're now at 6-0. It's just gone into a bloodbath. And k1llsen has zero choice except to run into RAISY, and that, as you said, is exactly what he wants him to do. And there is no choice now. It's over.
I mean, look
for
at these
k1llsen.
angles. Look at that last 10 seconds. How RAISY positioned himself. He knew that k1llsen needed to go for it. Position himself. Now I can hit this rail. Now I can hit this rail. Here's some tri-bolt. Yeah, it's really impressive how he is playing this defensively.
It is, and the visor's come to the fore. He's been using that piercing sight cooldown just for information and got so much effectiveness out of it. Also using it just to get rid of all the totems, so there's been zero overstack potential throughout. And k1llsen couldn't find a way to get on top of RAISY. There was no trap set. It was just trading position, trading items, very chess-like. And then all of a sudden, one frag, a bit of overconfidence from k1llsen, and the pain training came forward from RAISY.
Yeah, I really think at this point, they're like, people need to forget about RAISY's stage 3 performance, because this is the RAISY that we kind of all expect to see. k1llsen looked phenomenal. RAISY's now one up to that. We still had close, 2-1 games, but you just have to pretend like none of that happened. This is a fresh RAISY, and I'm excited to see what else he can do the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, and sometimes you do find that players pull out their best performances when they've not been looking that hot, you know? It's like a wounded animal. They're always more dangerous when they're just on the edge. And was that another full? Yeah, it was.
It was another 100, yeah. Another direct.
I mean,
he's like shooting them right into the pockets of k1llsen. Just, here's another one for you.
Well, I mean, this does mean we're going to probably get a k1llsen Rafa matchup in the lower bracket now, and there's some other big names that we've got coming up that might be falling down soon. Base and Wenger are up next. One of those two guys is also going to be meeting these. It's going to be a bloodbath week.
Yeah, that's a clash of styles and play styles that I really want to see as well. GGs are called about 10 minutes shy of the buzzer, but k1llsen knows this one is officially over. RAISY's going to take it 7-1, a 2-1 victory in the series. And, certainly not a, we had a close game, right? The sudden death the final sort of minute frag in map number 2. I mean, this is a great series. RAISY, though, pulling it out. Let's bring k1llsen back in.
Yeah.
And see what he has to think about, because I'm sure he enjoyed it the entire way. k1llsen, welcome back.
Hi, and I mean, there's so much to go over in this series. The biggest thing was all the way up until the closing kind of 5 minutes of the final map, it was nice and competitive. I know that RAISY had a bit of that upper hand on the first map. The second map, k1llsen really started to come alive, and importantly, on top of the good use of Ghost Walk, I think just being able to match those last minute pushes that I think RAISY against anyone else would have been able to squeeze in there. Yeah, here comes k1llsen on like 10 HP, and he still manages to get that gross defensive rail near LG on like the 6 minute mark. And then this final map, where I think you quite rightly pointed out, Dan, at 5 minutes it was 0-0, 6.5 minutes or whatever it was about 6-0. And it's like, okay, well, I guess that's just where things are now. RAISY has this uncanny ability to take the most patient match and turn it to this just absolute onslaught. And you sit there thinking, where did this come from? But yeah, you're right. We need to ignore RAISY's previous stage. This is the now, and RAISY of now is looking like the RAISY of old, and that's good.
I mean, we said RAISY is a bit of a bogey player for k1llsen in terms of style, but also mentally. You can see, very rarely do we see it, but you saw a bit of anger coming to the fore in the latter stages of that game, and purely the hit scan perspective, k1llsen struggles as someone can out-aim him, particularly with the lightning gun. And you can see the first 3 critical frags in this map came from k1llsen taking a lightning gun fight he would normally win. But RAISY just denied him and shut him down and just did more damage. And their situations against other players, k1llsen comes away with the frag and can control the map from there on out, but he just didn't have that luxury against RAISY.
And so that means that RAISY is going to be moving on to the semifinals, which means that his first match tomorrow is going to be against Cypher. And that's going to be an epic one as well. Coming up next, we've got another quarterfinal. In fact, our last quarterfinal before we move down to the lower bracket. That is Base versus Wenger. We also have had a few players eliminated from the lower bracket. We'll try to bring you some updates as we come back from the break. But gentlemen, thank you very much. These matches have just been absolutely phenomenal. We mentioned we're on uncharted territory. And thought I'd be a little scared here, but it's not. It's fun to explore. It is great to see, and I'm excited to see how this one maps out. k1llsen, thank you. ZSX, thank you. We'll see you back soon. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, it's time for Base versus Wenger, a clash of styles. You're not going to want to miss it. Stick around.